about me, I'm the Italian mobile dude. I'm the one with the weird accent. I work in McGraw Hill, and I work on mobile since 2005, 6. So it's a while that I deal with mobile. And let's see what today's agenda. So to me, it's very readable here, but for you, I guess it's not. We will talk about Tizen and the Wearable SDK. We will get a very quick overview about Android Wear, Cordova, Crosswalk, and WebRTC. Why all these technologies? Because these technologies can bring you to start a WebRTC call from a wearable device like this with your mobile device. Or even better, with the Tizen, you can access to the camera, so you can get exactly the streaming, you can record, you can get pictures, you can do a lot of things. We are supposed to run 2 demos, but considering how it's going with my laptop, probably we're not able to see more than one. One is to access the camera, and one is to start the Bluetooth communication between the mobile device, between the wearable device and the mobile device. We will prove that we can do with hybrid technologies everything. Also, if I'm not advocating here that we can do it only with hybrid technologies, and even more, I'm not saying that hybrid is the best choice ever. So, wearable technologies are everywhere right now. We have a lot of them. Android Wear, it's a pretty mature operating system. It's completely based on Android, and it's very customizable, like Cyanogen and other customization, and works pretty well. So, which is the big difference between Tizen and Android Wear? First of all, Tizen, it's supported by Samsung, Intel, different companies. So they bring this operating system on Samsung device, especially. This is a big difference. You find Tizen also on Toyota, because they have an IVI distribution that it's for vehicles, that it works pretty well. So the strategy behind Tizen is to have it in different kind of wearable device, better clocks, probably better device sometimes, and have it in Toyota car and other cars. Why it's related to Cordova and to hybrid technologies? The main difference between Android Wear and Tizen is that on Android Wear you have to write Java. How many Java developers we have here? Good. How many JavaScript developers? More. So you can work with JavaScript on Tizen, and you can follow the widget specification of the W3C and have a kind of package that you can install on your device. Not all the device support integrate the web view that it's needed in order to initiate a WebRTC call. In order to fix this issue, you can use Crosswalk. Crosswalk, it's an open source project. It allows you to use the last Chromium web view inside wearable and mobile devices. There are currently a couple of experiments around integrating Crosswalk in Tizen Wearable, but it's absolutely possible to integrate Crosswalk on Tizen-based device and vehicle device. Another technology that you need to be aware if you want to start a kind of communication between different devices should be WebRTC. It's not the only solution. It's one possible solution. It's based upon socket I/O, and it's a serverless implementation of WebRTC, or even better, of the socket communication. Why serverless? Instead of asking you to use a specific vendor server, you can write your own implementation in Node.js or whatever you want, just implementing the pattern that is defined into socket I/O. So it's pretty flexible and allows you to have a lot of freedom without keeping yourself too much related to vendor of server. Socket.io, it's also able to send back and forth data and then image, audio, and video. And this is happening since the version 1.0 that should be released in past January. What is in the SDK of Tizen Wearable? There is a device manager that you can use in order to install and configure different devices on your emulator. An Eclipse-based IDE, so you can write your code, your JavaScript code, your HTML code, your CSS into a kind of Eclipse. I don't know if you're familiar with Eclipse or if you like it. It's not the best IDE around. You have a Smart Developer Bridge tool, is named as SDB. It's a command line utility, and you can use it in order to connect to a device, to access as a root, and to do all the installation, uninstallation, sending file, all the operation that you can do also with the ADB utility that is delivered with Android. You have a wonderful web framework. It's named TAU. It's Tizen Advanced User Interface. It's a JavaScript MVC framework that use a lot of self-executing function and some code that it's not so clean. It's based upon require in order to have modules, and it can work. Obviously, it offers to you the page navigation, the capability to handle events, and to exchange notification between the wearable and the wearable device and the device itself. The SDK also offers you, expose to you, a context manager, the Samsung accessory protocol, and the interoperability. You see my accent, right? Interoperability. Support. The last one, it's the guy that allow you to handle communication and services and data from the phone side to the wearable side. The web framework, it's not so much complex. It's flexible. It allows you to create web user interface items, clock widget, and it allows you to access to device API without any other third-party library. So you can access camera, you can access motion sensor, you can access hertz sensor, you can access all the sensor of the device and all the Bluetooth protocol. It's exposed through the API, through the JavaScript API. You have 3 different ways of create application on Tizen: linked, integrated, and standalone. Linked, it's when you have 2 separate installations, one for the mobile device app and one for the wearable. Integrated, you install just one. They got installed simultaneously, and standalone are small widgets that you can use on your mobile phone like Opera Mini, on your wearable device like Opera Mini, Twitter, and other tools that allow you to be connected every time. In order to set up your development, and this should be pretty helpful with a slide, but I know it's terrible, but it's better than nothing. So you are reading the slide in Markdown. Yeah. So, okay. I was describing to you the tools and utilities that you have. Once you install the SDK manager, through the SDK manager, the Tizen SDK, you have a couple of folders inside your home folder. You have the Tizen SDK tools ID bin and the Tizen wearable SDK tools folder. You have to add this to your path in order to access to the SDB and to other tools. You can launch the ID and you can experiment a little bit with it, and with what you can do. So the IDE, it's pretty simple to use as a connection explorer panel that sounds like a mystery, but it's just a way to launch your device manager and your connected device, your configured devices. You can change whatever you want in the device, from the name to the skin, to the density, and so on. Once you launch the device, you will see that it will take time, but you can access interesting information like the shell and even more, the control panel. The control panel can be started only when the device starts, and it takes a few seconds, or in the worst case scenario, 1 minute. So let's take a look to the IDE. The IDE is Eclipse, nothing special, except that you can deploy one application not just to the emulator, but also to the browser. Actually, the advantage is that it's faster than the emulator and you can test whatever you want. It's just a standalone instance of Chrome, so you can open the developer tools and you can explore it. If you try to open a different app, like the Hello Accessory Consumer, you can see that there is also some UI elements, and all of these interact directly with your IDE. It's like emulating the app, but without launching in the emulator. Let's see if our device, okay, it's starting. Tizen, yeah. So when the device starts, the Connection Explorer should react to it, and we should be able to see here the device. Okay. At least we can show the installed app. So I'm accessing to the camera. Obviously, it's my camera. I am emulating it. But it's not so complex as it can seem. It's just a matter of knowing a little bit the API. And if you go in the JavaScript folder and you start to open the views folder, you in the views, yes, picture size, picture format, preview. Preview, it's the file where everything is happening. You require several modules that you need, the event, the camera, some helper that you created, and then you just access to the camera and you use exactly the API that are defined in the Tizen SDK and in the helpers that I created and I modified from the existing installation. Let's close it. Okay, power off. Good. I cannot complain this time. Oh yeah, we can complain. It's wonderful. I promise it's the last time that I do a demo about Wearable. Now I understand people that just use slides. So let's come back to our slides. Sorry for that. The SDB, it's pretty interesting. When you want to talk with the device, so if we are going to be lucky and the device starts in the next 0 seconds or a few minutes, we can see how through the SDB utility we can connect to the device and enter as root and explore the device and do whatever we want. Especially we can copy file from our file system to the device. So we can add libraries, we can do a lot of things. Obviously, we have to be careful. It's a device that has a very few set of memory and a very few space. 2 minutes? Over? Yeah, okay. I will try to run faster. So when you want to connect your device and your a physical device to the emulator, and vice versa, you have, first of all, to download to download a package that it's somewhere in this slide, comes from the Samsung website. It's a zip file that you have to unzip with a command line. Is this one. It's application for emulator. It's hosted on developer.samsung.com, and it's pretty important because it's the guide that contain all the items that you need to install in your device. If we go in applications for emulator, we increase the font, we clear the shell, and we do ls. So you have several examples, and you have these 4 APK that are critical to do whatever you want with Bluetooth connectivity. In fact, you have first of all to install the SA Accessory Service Emulator APK, the SAFT Core Emulator APK, and the Host Manager Emulator APK. Once it's installed, you open the Host Manager for emulator, and then you have to close it. Then you go back on your machine, and you import the Hello Accessory project into the IDE, and you install the Hello Accessory Provider APK onto your machine. Once you have done this, and if it will work, it's kind of a miracle, but if it will not work, you're used it since the beginning of the demo, so you should be able to quit everything, kill kind of everything, and start again the emulator and connect the 2 devices. Okay. I'm trying, and in the meanwhile, we can take some questions. So it will take, obviously, a few time, and hopefully, it's what we can get. It's a connect message, but I doubt it. In order to use WebRTC with hybrid technology, there are a lot of options outside. Cordova can help you to access the device API. It's not a way to get WebRTC, but it relies on the web view. So you can integrate your web view using the standard and WebRTC. There is Electron, that it's a pretty interesting project that supports completely the WebKit API on the desktop. It's open source. Atom, Slack, and other applications are built on top of it, and ScreenCat use already WebRTC. And there is OpenWebRTC that it's pretty interesting. It's open source. You can embed part of the code into your native app or into your hybrid app as native source code and integrate it in order to have a WebRTC experience on your mobile device. Obviously, yeah, in my final thoughts, there is experiment and play, and don't do demo. I will add this. Don't be scared to go hybrid, but be scared about wearable. And get a device to understand potentials and limitations before starting to do everything. Just buy a used device, or you can also rent this kind of device on the web. Play with the device and try to understand what you can build or what you can't. Let's give a chance to the IDE. No, it's until we don't see here in the Connection Explorer a device starting, we cannot neither try to give to run the demo. I'm sorry for that. I apologize. Thanks so much. You can find me on Twitter if you have additional questions. The slides will be published tomorrow, and you can find me on the Mobile T Meetup or on the New England Software Engineer. Thanks.